Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and today I'd like to go into the Mosaic curses, the curses listed in Deuteronomy 28. And basically, to show that the Lord's people, the Israelites, would be under these curses when he comes back in the end days, and throughout time they would have been under these curses. And it's also to show that the people currently claiming to be the Lord's people are not under those curses. But as it says in Deuteronomy 30 and 7, they will soon be under those curses. So let's get into it, prove that the Israelites would be under these curses. So this is Baruch 1, and we'll start at 17, go all the way down to 20. It says, "For we have sinned before the Lord." And what is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. "And disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our power, to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly. Since the day that the Lord brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day, we have been disobedient unto the Lord our power, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice." And so he's saying the Israelites broke the law, statutes, and commandments. Mainly, it was going after other gods and following the ways of the heathen. But this is showing that the Israelites disobeyed, they sinned. And if you look in the earlier books of the Bible, Judges and 1st and 2nd Kings and Chronicles, you'll see that the Israelites constantly broke the law, statutes, and commandments, sinned against the Lord, and the Lord would send another nation onto them to punish them. And that's a theme throughout the scriptures and even until now. Verse 20, "Wherefore the evils cleaved unto us," those evils being the curse, the Mosaic curses of Deuteronomy 28. "And the curse," showing that it's these evils, "which the Lord appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt." Those are the Deuteronomy curses, the Mosaic curses. "To give us a land that floweth with milk and honey, like as it is to this day." So the Israelites did sin, and they did end up under the Mosaic curses. Shows it again here in Daniel 9 and 11. "Yet all Israel have transgressed thy law." And as we said earlier, sin is the transgression of the law. So all of Israel sinned, "even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him." So these curses are on the Israelites, and they're going to be on the Israelites until the end. And this is Revelation 22 and 3. This is the last book of the Bible, the last page of the Bible. It's showing when these curses would be taken off of the Israelites. Revelation 22 and 3. "And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb shall be in it." And so, when the curse is taken away, Yahweh Shai will have returned. The Messiah will have returned, and his servants shall serve him. And that it's not where we are right now. We are not in the kingdom of heaven. The Lord has not returned. Therefore, the curses are going to be on the Israelites. And as it says, it be for a sign and for a wonder, so that you could easily identify who the Israelites are. So this is Deuteronomy 28, and we'll start at 15, and we're gonna just pick a few of these and read these, and at the same time ask ourselves whether or not the people that are claiming to be the Lord's people, who are currently occupying the land of Israel, whether or not these curses fit them or if they don't. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, and all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And earlier in Deuteronomy 28, it goes into the blessings from 1 all the way down into 14, goes into the blessings, and it said these blessings would come and overtake us, but if we hearkened not, the curses would overtake us, and the curses did overtake us. It says, cursed shalt thou be in the city. And if you ask yourself, who owns the skyscrapers, who owns most of the city, or what you could call the city, the businesses, the buildings itself? And it's not the Negroes, the Latinos, and the Native Americans. I would say that the Small Hatters, or Amalek, are the ones that actually own these things, or the Edomites in general. So it's, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. And who owns most of the land, if not just in America, but throughout Europe and around the world. Not to mention the land in Genesis, where it's going into Jacob and Esau. It says that Esau would have the fatness of the earth, so the best fields, as it says here, the best land, the choice land. That's a blessing of Esau in this time. It's also a blessing of Jacob, but this is still Esau's world. This is not the kingdom of heaven. 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store, as in what you're bringing in. And the people that we're looking at now, examining, they're some of the most wealthy people on the earth. You look at the Fortune 500 companies, and you look at the different governments, and you see that the people claiming to be the most highest people are actually at the top of this and getting wealthy and bringing in wealth from their production. And it's just a part of it. They're in their blessing right now. So, of course. But they couldn't say that they are cursed with the basket in their stores. Let's move down to verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. That's going into confusion, because our people, the Negroes, the Latinos, and the Native Americans, are in gross darkness right now. They don't know who they are. They're blinded, and in just absolute confusion. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. But you turn that and you look at the people that are claiming to be the Lord's people, and they are prosperous right now. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And if you're in the top positions and you own the choice land and you're influencing through your media and in other ways, you can't be the oppressed. You have to be the oppressor if you so choose to oppress. Just saying that these people, they're not oppressed. They're not in an oppressed state. And it says, and no man shall save thee. They're in their blessing. Why would they need anyone to save them? Thou shalt betroth the wife, and another man shall lie with her. And this is, you can think back to slave times, during slavery, and it was the slave owners that would marry us together, but then they would still come and take our wives, or daughters, or sisters. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. You can think of the different plantation houses, built those houses, and did not dwell in. We had slave quarters. Or you could go to the biggest house here in Babylon, the White House. We built that, but we're not dwelling there. We did not dwell in it. And no, don't call Obama, because Obama is not an Israelite. He is an Hamite. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Because we're the plowmen. And as it says, the day is coming when the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Verse 36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And so the small hatters like to say that these Deuteronomy curses came onto them during that incident that happened during World War II. But it says right here, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. But they were from that area, from that region, and they knew these people that actually took them. And as it turns out, they're actually the same people, just of different tribes. They're all of the nation of Edom, the Edomites. And thou shalt become an astonishment. Oh, going back. And there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. And during this period, that incident, were they forced into another religion? I don't recall reading that in any of my history books. They remained the wishing they were something that they're not. They weren't forced into another religion. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. And currently they have set up a magic word, a special word, starts with an A, ends with an E. The one that everyone's calling Kanye right now. That word. And they have that word set up so that they couldn't be a proverb or a byword. You can't even talk about them, or you will get disbarred. You'll get blacklisted, blackballed. It's something that's just not happening. They're not a proverb or a byword because they are at the top, and they've set up a system in which you cannot criticize them. As the saying goes, to know who rules over you, see who you cannot criticize. They're not a proverb and a byword. Moving down to verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And when has this happened? They own the banking system, they own the movie, entertainment, and music industries. They own the media, which allows and influences people and what they do and don't believe, and what they do and don't think are the right things to do. They pretty much control thought. But when is another nation, come into their industries and brought it down to where they are the tail? They are not the tail. They are the head right now. As it says with Amalek, he's the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he be no more. Paraphrasing. They are not the tail. They couldn't even look you in the face and make that big lie right now. Let's get down to 46. And they, as in these curses, shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. As in, where are these curses showing on you? I don't see it. You're prospering. You're the head right now. These curses aren't on you. Yeah, the Lord still judges you, and you'll have your down times, but as a nation, as a whole, we should be able to look at you and see you in a low position and be able to say, yes, these are the Lord's people who disobeyed him, and they are under the curses right now. And then let's go all the way down to the last one, this classic one, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. That Egypt is standing for bondage, for captivity, because there's no record of the Israelites going and serving a second term of slavery in Egypt. This is speaking of a new place. It's really speaking of Babylon the Great, or aka America. As it says in I think it's Revelation 11, that it's this place is known as Sodom and Egypt. Egypt for the bondage, the captivity that was served here, and Sodom for its alphabet ways, the alphabet lifestyle that is pushed here. So going back, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Does that say trains? No, that's just ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. As in, you're not going to be returning to the land of Israel. But the people that are claiming to be the Lord's people, that's where they currently are. Even though these curses say, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. That there being this Egypt, this bondage, this captivity, in which were sold, bondmen, bondwomen, those are slaves. And no man shall buy ye. That buy going into redeeming, which there's the law of the kinsman redeemer. And so we are waiting on Yahushua to return and buy us, to redeem us, to save us out of the hands of this strange nation. And he is coming, and it's going to be soon. And when he does, even before he does, the Lord said this about you heathen. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And the Lord, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies. So you, Amalek, you should look forward and read through chapter 28. You've already received 1 through 15, 1 through 14, but read all the way down from 15 to 68 and get very familiar with it, because that is what is coming upon you. And they're already starting to creep in. That's why your populations are low. That's why you're having that. Why the thing that happened 2 years ago, starting 2020. That's why that was all there, and why your people were divided over that. That's why. That's why this war is about to come and get you, burn you up. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies." As in, you, Amalek, you are our biggest enemy, and the Edomites as a whole. But it's going to go on to the rest of the heathen as well. These curses will overtake you. And on them that hate thee, and that's, you hate us, and it's okay, which persecuted thee. And you did that. You own the ships that we came over here in. You've been behind the lies made up about us. You've persecuted us, and you have done it thoroughly. It's been up to this point. It's never been this bad for any people, but you thoroughly persecuted us. You thoroughly hated us. And I know this makes you feel bad, but let's think about the Israelites' feelings right now. Your feelings don't matter. You're about to be nothing. You're going into slavery for 1,000 years, the most brutal slavery ever. It's going to be double what ours was. You're not even going to be 3/5 of a person. It's going to be in the negatives. Much rather just not have you around, but we need you to build up our kingdom and to receive your punishment. But then after that, you will be burnt up. You'll be done away with as a people, and wickedness will finally be put out of this earth. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.